Pressure chamber. The aim of the pressure chamber is to bring the air into the scrubber with little resistance as possible. The air will be divided along the width of the air scrubber. By doing so, the air becomes more homogenic towards the air scrubber. The main design criteria of the pressure chamber is that the airspeed is maximum 2.5 meters per second and that the fans are 3 meters away of the air scrubber air intake. For each 1000 cubic meters of air that you ventilate, the pressure chamber, must be at least 1 cubic meter big. The size and dimensioning and the shape of the pressure chamber can be smaller than the house itself or a bit wider as the house, but not much wider than the house itself. In general, the pressure chamber must have a few kinks and blockages as possible. The pressure chamber must be airtight and resistant to ammonia. The pressure chamber must be accessible for maintenance. Therefore, it should have inspection lights. All the mounting material must be made out of stainless steel. To protect the pressure chamber, coating should be applied. The coating must be applied to the walls and floor. On the walls, with a minimum height of 1 meter. The coating must be waterproof and also must be resistant to ammonia concentrations up to 50 ppm, and when using a chemical air scrubber, capable of resistance to a pH of 2 and due to the sulfuric acid. Also, the coating should be resistant to ammonia sulfate that's created during the process. When using a chemical air scrubber, coating is required. When using a biological scrubber, coating is strongly recommended. Here we can see the coating. Here we can see the coating applied 1 meter above the floor and also on the floor itself. To the side of a pressure chamber, the gap with the module should be airtight. This must be a flexible connection due to the coefficient of expansion of the PP material used for the module. When you have two modules combined, the gap in between should also be closed off. And again, it must be a flexible connection due to the expansion of the PP material. The construction requirements of the air scrubber, ground floor and also the pressure chamber. The concrete floor itself must have a bearing capacity of 400 kg per square meter. The top of the floor must be at the correct height. Of course, local standards and requirements for concrete floor must be met. Possibilities of reaching on top of the module for cleaning actions should also be considered. Sufficient space around the opening doors of the technical room should also be applied. Keep around 1 meter accessible extra floor to the technical room side. Construction requires air scrubber on elevated platforms. In addition, the construction must have sufficient stiffness and also resistant to wind and storms. The floor where the air scrubber is standing on should be completely closed off, so not a beam construction. Also keep in mind when working on height needs extra attentions. In summary, the fans must be placed 3 meters apart from the air intake. Coating should be applied 1 meter underneath the module and also 1 meter height in the pressure chamber and along the complete floor of the pressure chamber. Other construction requirements are for the acid and alkaline storage room. The door openings must be 2400 mm wide and 22 mm high for easy access with the tanks. Pump and safety materials and the emergency shower must be free accessible at all times. Also, the dimensioning of the room should be big enough to host these tanks. The pumps and the piping for the acid and alkaline must not be more further away than 15 meters of the injection point. Here on the left we can see the storage tanks of acid and alkaline, easy accessible emergency shower when necessary, the pumps not more than 15 meters away from the injection point, and the safety materials that we always supply. This is the end of the building and ventilation requirements. Thank you for watching.